As I navigated the dark, rain-soaked night, my car's engine suddenly sputtered and died on a remote, desolate road. With no other refuge in sight, I reluctantly approached a centuries-old mansion that loomed ominously in the storm. Its sinister reputation as a haunted place had always filled me with dread, but desperate circumstances left me with no choice. Entering the mansion, the flickering candles lining the hallway cast eerie shadows that danced to the rhythm of the rain outside. The air was thick with the musty scent of history, and a palpable sense of being watched sent shivers down my spine. It was as if the very walls held ancient secrets waiting to be uncovered. Driven by a mix of curiosity and trepidation, I ventured further into the mansion. In a long-forgotten library, I discovered ancient books adorned with cryptic symbols and illustrations of forbidden rituals. The mansion's eerie connection to a malevolent occultist who had once called it home sent a chill down my spine. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream pierced the silence, resonating through the mansion's hallowed halls. I followed the haunting sound, which led me to a hidden cellar door beneath a rug stained with old, dried blood. The creaking stairs descended into a chamber where sinister symbols adorned the walls. In the center of the chamber lay an ancient, leather-bound book, its pages seemingly alive with dark energy. It seemed to beckon to me, but the whispers of incomprehensible voices from the shadows seemed to warn me away, filling me with dread. Desperate to escape, I turned to reach the cellar door, but it slammed shut with a thunderous crash, trapping me in the oppressive darkness. The candles in the library flickered, casting long, eerie shadows. A frigid hand, as cold as death itself, closed around my shoulder. I turned to see a ghastly figure with hollow eyes and a tattered, blood-stained robe, the malevolent spirit of the occultist who had once called this place home. The spirit spoke with a chilling, otherworldly voice, recounting the horrors he had unleashed on those who dared to enter the mansion. His tales of dark experiments and malevolent forces sent chills down my spine, and I knew that confronting the spirit and breaking the curse was my only hope of escape. With trembling hands, I seized the ancient book and began reciting the incantations within, my voice quivering with fear. The mansion shook, and the spirit let out an ear-piercing scream that filled the chamber. Shadows swirled around us, and the very walls began to crumble. As the incantation reached its climax, the spirit's form wavered, and his eyes filled with torment. With a final desperate scream, he dissipated into the shadows. The cellar door creaked open, and I fled up the stairs and out into the pouring rain. With my car finally sputtering to life, I drove away from the cursed mansion, leaving it to its malevolent secrets, forever shrouded in the rainy night. But as I glanced back in the rearview mirror, I couldn't shake the feeling that the mansion's dark history would continue to haunt my dreams. On a stormy night, the relentless rain beat against the windows of a centuries-old mansion. I, John, found myself reluctantly seeking refuge in this eerie place after my car had broken down on a desolate road. Aware of the mansion's sinister reputation, I had little choice but to enter its foreboding doors. As I explored the dimly lit mansion, an unsettling feeling of being watched weighed on my senses. The flickering candles that lined the hallway cast eerie, shifting shadows on the portraits of long-forgotten family members, their eyes seemingly tracking my every move. The air was thick with a musty, ancient scent, and the sound of the rain outside was reduced to a distant murmur by the thick stone walls. The presence within the house sent shivers down my spine. With trepidation, I ventured deeper into the mansion, guided only by the dim candlelight. I stumbled upon a dusty library filled with old books, their covers adorned with cryptic symbols and illustrations of arcane rituals. I picked one off the shelf and began to read, revealing that the mansion had once been the residence of a powerful occultist who had delved into dark and forbidden rituals in pursuit of unimaginable power. A blood-curdling scream suddenly pierced the air, sending a shock of fear through my veins. I followed the terrifying sound, which led me to a hidden cellar door concealed beneath a tattered rug. Hesitantly, I descended the creaking stairs into a chamber adorned with eerie symbols drawn in blood, their crimson markings stark against the ancient stone walls. In the heart of this ominous chamber, an ancient leather-bound book lay open, exuding an ominous aura. Its pages seemed to writhe with dark energy, and a sense of impending doom loomed heavily. The eyes of countless spectral onlookers appeared to bore into my very soul, and a feeling of dread enveloped me. As I approached the sinister tome, I heard indistinct whispering voices emanating from the shadows. Their words were incomprehensible, and the voices seemed to taunt and terrify me, driving me further into desperation. I attempted to escape, but before I could reach the cellar door, it slammed shut with a thunderous impact, imprisoning me in the suffocating darkness. The candles in the library dimmed, casting long, dancing shadows on the walls. A cold, bony hand, as icy as death, seized my shoulder. When I turned, a ghastly figure with hollow eyes and a tattered, blood-stained gown stood before me. It was the malevolent spirit of the occultist, bound to the mansion by the dark rituals he had conducted. The spirit spoke in a chilling, otherworldly voice, recounting the horrors he had inflicted upon those who had dared to enter the mansion. He detailed the gruesome experiments and malevolent forces he had harnessed, causing a chill to run down my spine. I understood that the only means of escape was to confront the spirit and break the curse that had ensnared him in this dreadful place. With trembling hands and unyielding determination, I seized the ancient book and recited the incantations within, my voice quivering with fear. The mansion trembled, and the spirit unleashed an ear-piercing shriek that reverberated through my very being. Dark shadows swirled around us, and the chamber's walls began to crack and crumble. As the incantation reached its climax, the spirit's form wavered, and its eyes filled with anguish. With a final, desperate scream, the malevolent presence dissipated into the shadows from which it had emerged. The cellar door creaked open, revealing my path to freedom. With my heart racing, I rushed up the stairs and out of the mansion, leaving the nightmare behind. Each step I took seemed to dispel the curse, and as I emerged into the pouring rain, I felt the oppressive atmosphere slowly dissipate. I knew I had narrowly escaped a fate worse than death, but the haunting memory of that malevolent mansion and the sinister spirit that had tormented me would forever haunt my nightmares. The storm raged on, but my car miraculously roared to life. I drove away from that nightmarish place, leaving the mansion to its dreadful secrets, forever buried in the rainy night. However, as I looked back in the rearview mirror, a lingering unease gnawed at my mind, leaving me with the unsettling sensation that the mansion and its dark history still loomed in the shadows, a sinister chapter in my life that would never truly be closed.